All right. So before we jump into these, let's review. How do you write um, a normal IELTS writing task one? If you're writing for a normal chart, graph, or table or pie chart, do you remember the steps? No? Let me see. All right, let me share this tab. So when you're writing IELTS task one, there are three easy steps. Three easy steps. The first step is called paraphrase everything. The second step is find the three big trends. And the third step is conclusion. Now, actually, step two has two steps. Is to find the trends and then compare the two and use the third trend as your conclusion, but that doesn't matter. Three steps. All right. What's great about these three steps is, I'll share this tab, that they also apply the other types of charts. They also apply to the process. Yes, and they also apply to the map. How? How does that work, you ask? I'll tell you. So when you have a chart, first thing you want to do is find three trends. Or no, first thing you want to do is paraphrase everything on the chart. All right. So average number of hours worked per week. We have to change that to the normal amount of work that different types of workers do uh, every 7 days or over 7 days. All right, we need to paraphrase this. Change average to the normal amount, or the averaged, turn it into a verb. The averaged you can't say number, amount or count of, can't say hours, so we can say time. The averaged amount of time, and we can't say worked, but we can say spent, spent on work. We can't say per week, but we can say over the 7-day work week. All right. We need to say the numbers measured. Right, measured. We always say the numbers on the left are measurements, and the words on the bottom are categories. All right. Measured in tens of hours, 10 hours, 20 hours. These are tens of hours, and split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 categories of jobs. 8 categories of different jobs. So we would paraphrase that, and we would also paraphrase this. So it gets crazy. But since we have already paraphrased writers, doctors, chefs, lecturers, lawyers, movie producers, programmers, and businessmen, we don't need to paraphrase them again here. We simply need to paraphrase the title and the measurements. So the two charts below show, and I should have been writing this down. I'm a dummy that I didn't write this down. Two charts below show the what did I say? The averaged, change average to a verb, the averaged, change number to amount of, change hours to time. What did we change work to? Oh, what happened? All right. So she got kicked out. She said her laptop ran out of power, but I'm going to keep this going. The averaged amount of time, the averaged amount of time spent, time spent, worked, right? You work is your hours worked is a synonym for time spent at work or time spent working. Time spent working each, oh, let's say each week. We say over 7 days. Over 7 days. In 7 days from week. Okay. Um, measured in tens of hours. Again, that's the measurement on the side, 10 hours, 20 hours, 30. So it's measured by tens of hours across um, across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, these are all jobs, right? Now, we can't say across 8 categories: writers, doctors, chefs, lecturers, lawyers, movie producers, programmers, businessmen. We can't say all of that. We can't repeat them. But what we can do is find a synonym or put them into groups, of jobs. Across, so we could say across 8 professions, right? A job is a profession. So 8 professions. You join back up again. Oh. Across 8 professions. Or we could put them into groups. So we could, let's see, this takes a little time that you don't need to take. In some charts, this will be easier than others. You know, if it's months, right? If it's just January, February, March, April, May, it's easy to group them. Spring and summer, or summer and winter months. You can quickly make that grouping. Here, it looks like these are not all white collar jobs across 8 professions. Some white collar, right? Businessmen, programmers. I don't know if movie producers are, they're money men. They're white collar. Lawyers, lecturers, doctors, and writers. So across 8 professions, mostly white collar jobs. A chef is I don't consider it a white collar, even though in some cases, literally, they have white collars. A chef is a physically demanding job that I wouldn't call it white collar. Some people might, but it is a highly skilled, technical position that it definitely qualifies, that it's definitely on the same level as the others. Like a really good chef is just as good and just as respected as a really good lawyer or doctor. It's true. They can't do each other's jobs. Other people can't do their jobs off the street. So if they are among experts in their field, all of these jobs have a equal amount of prestige, I would say. All right, so it looks like this call is going to end in 2 minutes, which I don't know why that would be. Do not leave empty calls. All right, anyway, so as I was saying, all right, so you're back. Great. Did you get your laptop plugged in?
Yeah.
All right. So all I was saying is that a chart, you have to paraphrase everything. When there's two charts, paraphrase everything in both of them. If some things are the same, don't paraphrase the things that are the same. All right. So I paraphrased the first chart already. Average number of hours worked per week, measured in tens of hours across 8 different professions. If you don't know the word professions, you can say jobs. It's fine. If you don't know jobs, you can say titles or job titles, whatever. Doesn't matter. As long as you don't say writers, doctors, chefs, and lecturers. All right. So the 2 charts below, there's a pie chart and a bar chart. So the 2 charts below show 1, everything I just wrote, and the pie chart shows occupations of people suffering from stress-related illnesses. So, and the same 8 professions, and the all right, occupations, we can say professions. And since these professions are the same as the other ones, I'd say the same. And the same professions now these are percentages, so we could say percentages, we could say proportion, which is a word I really like. All right, so whenever we have a measurement of percentage, you can say portion or proportion, which I really like proportion. All right, and since professions is plural, our proportions also have to be plural. Portions. All right, this is just the percentages. All right, I'm not creating anything. You see a percent sign, you need to write a word for it. You can't write percent, so you just write something else. proportion, portion, section, count, um, average, right? You can say lots of words, just pick any one of them that you know, right? This seems very complex. It seems like a complex sentence, high level words, difficult to understand, but you don't have to because all you're doing is paraphrasing. Just remember that. Paraphrase. Okay, do that. All right, so percentages, the proportions we got of people suffering from stress related illness. How do we paraphrase that? Say professions, proportions of, we can't say people, but we can change suffering to the person form. So it's a noun person. So suffering becomes sufferers. Sufferers. From, we can't say stress related illness, but we can say sickness. We're changing stress related illness. You can try to do this word by word. So instead of stress, you can say pressure. Instead of related, you can say connected. Right? Related means connected or relating to. I mean, there's a million ways you can do it. Pressure, connected, and instead of illness, you can say sickness. Only singular, so we keep it singular. So you can say pressure, connected, sickness. But for me, I don't like the way that sounds, and because I can, I'm going to. I'm going to change the order of these words. So, because people suffer from something, they suffer from sicknesses. Sicknesses connected to their work pressure. I just changed the order because I can. It feels better for me. If it feels better for you to change the order of words, right? Maybe you have heard something in a movie, or if it just in your mind, if it just feels better, do it. Go with your instincts. All right. Always trust your instincts and go. But one is not more correct than the other one. You could say, what did I say? Pressure connected illness is exactly the same as, or pressure connected sickness is the same as sickness connected to, and I'm going to add work pressure because this is about work. Work pressures, workload. You could keep stress and add the adjective workplace stress. Workplace stress. You could say work. You can't really say work related stress. That's too many of the same words. But environmental work environment. Just a million things you could say. I don't care what you say. As long as you say something, your writing will be band 9. As long as you change these words, you will be a band 9 writer. Okay? And you don't have any grammar mistakes. But it's hard to make a grammar mistake if you're just copying the title, just change the words. All right. So we have paraphrased both charts. Now you need to find 3 trends. All right. So just like always, I tell everyone, if you have a pie chart, turn it into a bar chart. Just turn it into a bar chart, okay? Just do it. So we got their percentages here, right? And we got the jobs on the bottom, just like the first one. I don't care what the jobs are. And we got 25% for lecturers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is lecturers. So I don't know. Call this the biggest one. We'll call this 25%. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Oh, there's too many. It's 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Oh, my bad. $25, 15, 5. Call it 5, call it 15, call it 25. There we go. All right, so we got 25 for our lecturers, then we got 10 for chefs, which is number 3. So it's like here. Then we got 15 for doctors. All right, it's here. Boom. Programmers is 8. Take the time to do this. All right. When you're writing with a pencil, it's much easier. It will go much faster. So then try to, I'm trying to use my mouse to do this on screen. It's going to go slow, but when you do it, this will go quickly. Writers. Nope. Where's writers? Green. Light. Okay, I think it's 8. I think writers is 8. All right, so we're at 8. Then we got what's pink? Businessmen. It's 11. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So businessmen is at 11. There. Programmers is at 5. That's very low. Movie producers at 18, a little higher than 15. And then what's purple? Is this lawyers? Lawyers at 8. So there. All right. Now we got the 2 charts, right? Now, if you want, you could put them next to each other at, what did I say? Writers is 8. So we could draw them here, put 8, and then doctors is 15-ish. All right, chefs is 10. Lecturers 25. I will say, I think it is quite stressful to be a lecturer. That's a teacher. Just because you have to talk to so many people, you have to prepare very well. Everyone's looking at you. It's probably recorded. I can see the stress there. 8% for lawyers. Movie producers is 18. Okay. And then programmers, only 5. All right. Very low. And then what's the last one? Businessmen, 11. All right. So now it just looks like a chart with two bars. Time to find your three trends. So you're gonna find two normal trends, and then one that's just like overall, just a main big trend for the whole chart. All right, so this is just like normal. You're gonna find three trends. Let's mark them off. Let's find some trends. Tell me a trend that you see, Miss Ling.
Businessman.
Businessman. All right. Working time.
Working.
Uh-huh.
Working time.
Right. So this trend starts here, and then what? Where does it go? What are we drawing? So businessmen working time increases or decreases or compared to what? Movie producer?
Increase.
Huh?
Increase.
Increases to what? No, I wish you could draw on the screen like me. Maybe you can. Let me do this. There's a whiteboard feature here. Put this on. All right. So do you get that link to draw on that whiteboard? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Good. All right. So now it is your job. Draw me a trend. Use the pen and you draw whatever you're talking about. Hmm? Draw me a trend.
I want to comparing. I want to compare the lecturers and businessmen.
Draw it. Show me on the whiteboard.
I can draw in here.
Can't. What? Why does it let you draw? Oh, it's a viewer. There. Sorry. Try it now. There should be like a little thing on the side of some drawing stuff. Yes. No.
No.
Close this page and come back in. Did it work? Can you come back?
Yes.
There you go. Can you draw now? There we go. That's your line. Okay.
I don't have an.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So you're comparing you're comparing from here to here, right?
Yes.
All right. So you're saying that the number of hours lecturers work is more or less than
Nice.
the number of hours businessmen work. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So that's your first trend. All right. It's called, I'm going to call it number hours lecturers less. I'll just call that less. No, I made a terrible mistake. Lecturers less than number hours business. All right, so this is one line, and this is the name of the line. The number of hours of lecturers' work is less than the number of hours businessmen work. Now we need to compare. Now we need another trend to compare this to. So, all right, I'll call this A. We need to compare this to something. So, give me another trend. Okay. You talk the stress of the lecturers and businessmen. All right. So the percentage of stress of lecturers is, this is what you're comparing, right? More than the percentage of stress of businessmen. Yes?
Yes.
All right. So now we got our two lines. Now you need to compare A and B. A is what?
Higher.
You can compare them any way you want. More than, less than, the opposite, the same. What's the comparison? A is blank compared to make this thing make sense.
Opposite.
Are they the opposite? Now, to be the opposite, we need to know the numbers, right? So A goes from, what's it look like, 25 up to 65. A is 25 to 65. That equals 40. All right, A is 40. How much is B? B is the same, 25 to, is that like 15? 25 to 15. And so that's, so this one is plus 40, and this one is minus 10. All right, so they're not quite opposites. They go in the opposite direction. You could say that. So A moves. Why am I doing this? Why don't I just type? A moves in the opposite direction of B. You could say that. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
All right. That's fairly simple, and that's fine. It's not as many words as what we're about to do. I want you to compare these two numbers. So let's talk about these numbers. 40 is more than 10, right? Yes? 40 is 10 times 4, so it is 4 times bigger than 10.
Yes.
A increases or grows or moves 4 times more than B, and B is decreasing, so it's more than B decreases. All right, so we could say that. Let's see. Is there anything else we could say about these two lines? No, that's enough. They're both basically the same. One is numbers and one is just a direction. All right. So now we know A stands for all of this, right? So this is where our word count comes from, because we're going to name this trend number of hours worked. All right. The number of hours lecturers worked per week. Number of hours lecturers and businessmen worked per week is, or moves in the opposite direction of the percentage of lecturers and businessmen suffering from stress related illness. It's a lot of words to say this very simple thing, which is what we want. It's very complex sentences, which is band 9 level writing. All right. Now you'll see I did not write that. I want you to try to write what I just said. All right. Give it a try. It's A moves in the opposite direction of B, and A is the title plus the category. All right. The title plus the jobs plus the measurement, which is number. B is the title, stress-related illness, plus the category, that's lecturers and businessmen, plus the measurement, which is percentages. Put those all together. You just write it. You can write it in the Google Doc or you can write it in the chat. Maybe better just write it in the chat. Or you could just write it right here on the whiteboard. I'm sorry. Yeah, just hit the text button on the whiteboard.
Can you resend the Google Doc link?
Yeah. Oh. Let me take a quick. Oh no, I can move this. All of this over here. Make it small. Actually, I don't need that anymore because I already wrote it. Sorry. Don't need any of that. Like this. I got the picture of it. Can you see where we are? It's under right here. So we got the titles paraphrased. Now you need to add in your blah blah blah. Come down underneath the graph to right. That's what we forgot. So we're looking for A. A is not the percentage. A is a number. Number of hours. The number of businessmen. No, it's the number of. So here's where you're making the mistake. Take it step by step. First, you have to write the name of A. A is uh, A is the number of hours. I'm gonna try to make this easy. So A has 3 or 4 parts. Number of hours, um, worked, number of hours, yes, worked per week. We'll just keep it at worked. And then by lecturers and businessmen. So it's the number of hours worked by lecturers and businessmen. All right. And that number is, you know, I don't know, 40, whatever. It's increasing by 40. All right. And then we get moves in the opposite direction of. Then B is the percentage of people percentage of people suffering maybe altogether suffering from work stress Not percentage of people, sorry. Percentage of lecturers and put those on two separate lines. Businessmen. Take this. Percentage of no, it has to go the other way. Yeah. Percentage of stress, work stress. I think I like that. Keep it the same. Number of hours worked by percentage of work stress by here's where the mistake is. Okay. Clifford. All right. So this is what the first this is A and B put together. It's a combination because we're not just writing about lecturers, we're writing about lecturers and businessmen who work every week versus lecturers and businessmen who suffer a percentage or some amount of stress. All right, it's going to be long, but that's good for you. Just take it piece by piece. The number of see what's happening here. Need A. So what is A? A is the first chart. The number of hours. Hold on, let me get that. All right, where you at? So A is chart 1. It's about working time. How many hours do they work every week? B is about working stress. How much stress do they have when they work? So you can that actually I'm gonna
It's
yeah,
B.
let that be B, and then just write, make sure you write A next and leave it as right. And we can't say number because a percentage is not a number, but a percentage is an amount or portion, proportion, piece, whatever. The amount of work stress suffered, the number of hours lecturers and businessmen worked per week. Good. Okay. So now we can just take off these A's and B's. All right. Now moves in the opposite direction. So now we have compared those two, but what we didn't do is describe them first. So it looks like there's only a small amount of words. We're like, why is this paragraph so short? Because the amount of work stress suffered by lecturers and businessmen, we have not yet written that part. All right. So we still have to describe that line. That's where our word count will get much bigger. Also, in the introduction, I forgot to paraphrase the actual. I mean, you also paraphrase this title. This is the title of both charts. You paraphrase the title of both charts, then you paraphrase each chart by itself, and you get the correct number of words. So now we have the amount of work stress suffered by lecturers and businessmen. All right. We describe that. So chart A or chart one, whatever, or the bar graph, whatever you want to say. I just say chart one, or I'll say the chart on the top. Chart on top uh, tells us And then we describe the line of work stress suffered, right? It tells us that lecturers work much less. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at A and this is B. So this is the chart on the bottom. My bad. The chart on bottom tells us that what was it? I need to look over here. So the chart on bottom tells us that lecturers and stress is actually quite high. So lecturers suffer much more stress than businessmen. How much more? I don't know. It's what 25 and businessmen is 15. No, businessmen is only 11. Where did I get 15 from? Whatever. It's not, it's supposed to be 11. Whatever. So we have to write that part. So we have to write that. But I think you can write that. So describe those two lines. Lecturers have a high level of stress. That's it. 25. Right, 25%, which falls. Use whatever words it's a line. All you're doing is describing it. So it falls quickly, or falls steadily, or rapidly, or it shrinks, or it drops, or it plummets, or it. You know all these words. Describe the line. I did that one. You do the next one. So you do A. All right. So the chart on bottom, what? Oh, tells us, get out of order. Tells us that lecturers have. I would write that. You can write that, but you don't have to. You can just put a comma. Lecturers have a high amount of stress at 25%, which falls to only 10% stress level for businessmen. Period. Whereas, so not a period, semicolon. Whereas, and then you describe the chart on the top. And instead of saying on top, I prefer you to say above, because that is a preposition of place. It will show that you have a better grasp of English. Okay, don't do that. Use a word, don't use a parentheses. So you can say the lecturer's measurement of 25 hours, right? Or at 25 hours. Don't use a symbol for when you can use a word. But keep going. The chart above shows the significant increase from lecturers' measurement measurement at 25 hours. Okay. So you say from, you need a to. Good. Good. Shows the significant increase from lectures measurement at 25 hours to. Okay. I like that. Now you need to connect these two parts here. We need a connection. So you could say clearly this shows, or the relationship is, or when we compare the two, we see. I would say the simplest way is when we compare those two trends, we can see the amount of work, the amount of A moves in the opposite direction of B. There we go. Let's do our word count. 80 words. Look at that. Oh, also, you made a mistake here at lecturers. You can clearly see it pop up. So lecturers is plural, so it doesn't have apostrophe S, it just apostrophe. Any word with an S at the end, any word that's plural, more than one, doesn't add an extra S. All right, so now we do our conclusion. And for our conclusion, we just take one big trend that covers the whole chart. All right, these are the 3 trends we talk about. Let me share this tab. So we're going to find one trend that covers the whole chart. It could be like, you know, I don't know. It's kind of a weird trend. It just goes up, down, up, down. Up. So, you know, this whole trend, you could say the whole chart, the chart shows that the hours worked, the number of hours worked goes up and down for different jobs. There's no pattern. Who knows? I mean, who knows? I don't know. It just goes up and down. We could do stress. So we could say, again, this is just up and down. And it's not even the same, is it? Up here, down, down again, up. Yes, opposite. I mean, it's not actually the same. Down, it kind of. So you pick one long trend and describe it. So that's up to you. You can talk about number of hours worked, or you can talk about occupations, or you could talk about both. I wouldn't. You don't need to do that, but you know. So you're just going to talk about trend number 1. This is number of hours. Number of hours across all jobs. Go up and down. Up and down. Seems random. Random. I don't see any pattern. So it just seems random. So you can put all of that into a paragraph, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't see anything cool to talk about here. There's no reason to go super deep into this. You could talk about a pattern of which ones are low, right? So take a look here. The Rex. So you could say, let's say low is under 30. All right, so we got 1, 2. So only 2 of them are low, and the rest are a bit high. All right, high. That's also a trend. So the trend is these 2 are low, and the rest are high. And we say low because low, actually, we should probably do 40. I think a normal amount of hours per week is 40. Now, you might not know this. You're just a student, but an adult knows this. A normal amount of hours per week is 40. The normal amount of working hours. That's 8 hours per day, every day. So in this case, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 low jobs and 1, 2, 3, 4 high jobs. There's an interesting trend. You could say about half of the jobs are a normal or have a 40-hour work week or less, and the other half all have more than 40. Right? So you could describe what you want. You don't have to do this. Just go with any normal trend. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's random. Just talk about that one. All right. Do it. Finish that last one. Make sure you say in conclusion. Right? In conclusion, or overall, we can clearly see, or something like that. All right, let me take a look at what you're writing. To summarize. I like that. But it has 2 M's and an A. I know it sounds like summer, but it's samar, which is weird. Summarize. All right, so think about what you're saying. All right, so you're talking about the jobs or the categories. So half of the jobs, and I don't think you should write this, Lane, because you don't know anything about working hours. Write about something else. Pick a trend or pick any line that goes across the whole thing and write about that. You could write about the stress. Um, you could compare the random line of working hours and the random line of stress. Right? You'd say the two charts show that the number of working hours and the percentage of stress is random. They both go up and down, and but don't say up and down. Use real words. They both increase and decrease. They both rise and fall. They fluctuate. They are unsteady, unstable. I like random, so they randomly increase and decrease. There is no clear connection between the number of hours someone works. Right. So I'm talking a lot, but you should be right. Unstable trends in the average number of working hours. All right. It looks like you have the right idea. Let's move on. Maybe there's not enough time. Maybe we should continue this with the next one. Keep writing. Keep writing. Because the process and the map, although a map is just a graph with no numbers, so you will be able to see that the map is written very similar to the graph. The process is a bit different just because it's all pictures. So it's super paraphrasing. But we need to practice that. So we'll do that in its own lesson. Finish writing this essay. Actually, no. We have exactly 20 minutes. Write another one. I'm going to give you an essay. Hold on. Trying to get the next map. Oh, crappy. All right, here we go. So down at the very bottom of this document, there's a new writing task. All right. The graph and the table below give information about water use worldwide. First things first, turn that table into a chart, a bar chart. You could even turn that line graph into a bar chart just to help you see everything more clearly. Mm. We got 20 minutes. So the first chart says global water use by sector. It's measured in kilometers cubed. All right, so we got kilometers cubed, and it goes from 0 to 1,000. All right, 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, so domestic use is 0 in 1900. Then by 1920, it's still 0. So 50, it goes up to like tiny bit. So domestic use goes up to a tiny bit. 1950, and then 1980, it goes up. I mean, it's never much. Like 300. So that's domestic. And we got industrial. 1950, industrial is at a little more than domestic. This is still a little bit. And then in 2000, industrial is at like 1,000. Okay. And then we got this 1950. Agriculture is already at 1,000. And then 2000 is 3,000. That's my chart. That's the top chart. Let's see the bottom chart. Oh well, let's do this. Oh shit. All right, now we got 2 countries in the next one. Two countries. We got Brazil. All right, so, Brazil and Congo. All right, and we got there. Population. I know what I did. Okay. So we got 2 countries. Brazil and Congo. All right. And then we got population. Population of Brazil. Population of Congo. We got irrigated land, whatever that is. I'll just call it land of Brazil, land of Congo. And then we got water consumption per person. So then we got water and we got water. Remember the words, the names, they're called categories. They go at the bottom. The numbers are measurements. They go on the side, right? So we got 5 million. I mean, we can just put these wherever. It really doesn't matter. So let's start with blue. So we'll call population blue, and it goes up to 176 million for Brazil and 5 million for Congo, which is nothing. All right, and we need irrigated land. All right, that's 26,000 for Brazil. Again, very high. And then 100 for Congo again, so very small. And then we got water. For water, it's 359. All right, and then 8. Again, very small. Okay. All right, so we have our 2 charts. All right. Now, all you got to pay attention here. This chart is about water use, water consumption. Those are the same. All right, so that's our connection. All right, that's our connection. That's what we can compare. So we can compare our water use here with our water use and here. Oh, wait. My bad. 2000. We cannot compare 1950. So there, we got water and water 2000, and 2000. Water, let's call it blue. So water in Brazil is 359. $359. Water in Congo, 8. We got domestic use. What did I say? Just a small amount. One. Also small. We got industrial use. Half there. It's more than 300. So it's like this. And then we got agriculture, which is 3,000. Actually, I like this for about the same. The domestic use is about 300 in the global water use by sector. That's about 300. All right, so that's about 300, and this is 300. So they're about the same. So I make these two colors about the same. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now you have your two comparisons. Racist. This is Brazil. Oh, God damn it. Brazil, Congo, world. All right. This is for the whole world, global. All right. Brazil is at 300 or 359. Congo is at 8. In the world, domestic, industrial, and agriculture. Oh, I got those backwards. Agriculture. World agriculture is at 3,000. World industrial is at 1,000. Yeah, that's industrial. And then world domestic is at 300. Let's say about 300 there. All right. I mean, I could have just said 359 if I'm not being a silly Billy. We'll call it 359. Who knows? All right. So now you can make your comparisons. So, for example, Brazil is 359 and agriculture is 3,000. So that's a sharp rise. Super sharp. giant, 10 times more. I mean, there's any trend you want. Pick your three trends. What's interesting is that I like to see this. This is domestic. That means in your house per person in a house. It's about the same, right? This is per person in a house. So Brazil uses 359 per person. That's the global amount. It's the same amount as everyone else in the world. Don't worry about that. You don't have to. You don't have to notice that. But now you have two charts that have been put together. Just remember that they were at first two different charts. They're two different charts, right? Which you will describe in your introduction, right? Describe the two different charts, paraphrase them, and then use the combined chart to make your trend lines. Describe. I can't copy it. It's copied. Oh. Oh, it says P is 5.2, 100. This was 176. All right. So in the first chart, what are you going to say? You're going to say something like the graph and table inform us about water usage and water usage around the world and in these two specific countries. You can't remember, you're paraphrasing, so you have to paraphrase this. The graph and table, that's what they are. There's no other ways to say it. The graph and table show us or inform us about the use of water or how much water is being used. And don't say worldwide, you can say around the world or on the planet. You say among all of the countries in the world, whatever. Just don't say worldwide. And you can't say water consumption, but you can say water use or the use of water or the amount of water consumed. right? And you can't say two different countries, but you can say these two specific places, or you. I mean, you could just say Brazil and Congo. I don't know if they're south of the equator or not. We could say two large countries or two very different countries because Brazil has 176 million people and Congo only has 5.2. So it seems like this Brazil's quite big and Congo's pretty small. So you could say between a large country and a small country. You could say that. It's true. But just don't say two different countries. Say something else. And then you'll say the line graph details water usage or uh, details worldwide water consumption by, you can't say sector, but you can say industry, agriculture industry, factory, in, I don't know, in.